Hello, my name's Gaz Weaving. I'm the founder and CEO of Forgotten Veterans UK. The live feed I'm going to do today, I take no pleasure in whatsoever. But we feel that it's come to this point now. We've played the game. We've tried to follow suit. We've formed the queue. We've been involved in all the events. We've done everything we can to be part of a system, but yet again the system is letting us all down. I think it's time that there is an inquiry into large military charities and associations, because there's a lot of people that come to us with some disturbing facts and things that have showed up on their accounts. I'm beyond it with these people, absolutely beyond it. We're not being helped for one simple reason: because we are prepared to say the truth. We are prepared to not be silenced for the lure of a check. We put the veterans before anyone else, before ourselves, before me, before the charity. We gave 90% away last year, 90%. And doesn't that show exactly the problem? That it can be done. And I believe firmly that the money that gets donated to us belongs to the veterans and not to us. Good morning, Lara Debenham. Lovely for you to join me. What do we have to do? We've been on our hands and knees. We've begged, we've asked, we've played the game, and yet we get denied. And it's coming from the top level, the trustees, the old boy network. Thank you for joining me, Paul Tinsley. I am currently nearly £15,000 in debt, because I know and we can see what needs to be done for these people to give them a safe space, somewhere to come. Some of these larger organisations are so far and out of touch with what our actual needs are, they're only serving their own. You know, how does a man that lives in an 8-bedroom house in Surrey, he's got his kids go through private education, he's never seen an NHS queue or a food bank in his life, know what we need, have the power to say no to us? Richard Watson, yes, but I also think it's time that all small charities start working as one. Richard, I've tried, mate. I've tried as hard with the small ones as I have with the large ones. There are some small ones that are willing to help and work and join up. You buy the washing machine, I'll buy the tumble dryer. They're not. There is some good ones, but there's also a percentage that will stay quiet, not give an opinion, laugh in the right places, and form a queue for crumbs because. For funding, because they need to be paid. Well, I'm sorry. If your full intention is coming into this world is for a wage, then you are feeding the problem. It's about time that we spoke up. I've found it easier to arrange a meeting at Westminster with small charities, MOD, the Armed Forces Covenant and politicians than I have to get to the manager of a certain large charity in the south. How does that work out? Why is that fair? Is that what he's paid for? To ignore us? If you don't listen to us, you've got nothing. All I see is prestige events. You know, I was somewhere not only last week, the week before, and they put on a half-term kids week, and I'd never seen so much spent on merchandise, all labelled up, all for 2018. an open week for veterans and their children. Well, I stood there for 2 days and I never saw one child or one veteran enter into that place. And I'll tell you why, because the veterans, they've lost the respect to the veterans. This is crazy. This is wrong. I have had to put all the materials for this place out of my own personal pocket, because I get promised and led along, and then we get let down because the old boy network comes into play. Well, I'm here to tell you today, old boy network, that you are part of the problem. You're only interested in yourselves. You're only interested in the pay. You're only interested in extending your career. Well, I'm sorry. All I ever get given is excuses. Oh, we keep that money for longevity. Well, what about the longevity of the 52 that died this year? How about them? Where's their longevity? Where's their future? Where's their care? You're all turning the cheek, because the problem is we've got to this stage because of what you're doing is not working. In some ways, yes. Don't get me wrong, we know that some of these people do great work. We know, right? And we know that without the work they do, we'd have nothing. But they also have a hell of a lot of money, right? And this has fed the problem. If you're not willing to share it out amongst the small selfless charities that don't take a wage, then you shouldn't have that money in the first place. You have got donations meant for us, to be given to us. There's only so much bugle playing to justify, you know, nearly £750 million. And that's just one charity. I've gone around and asked for £28,000 for 3 managers. So that's all 3 of them working all year long for £28,000. So we can give the veterans and the people that use this place the best safety and the best support possible. And one of them, I didn't even get an application form. I no longer feel welcome at a particular charity. I thought you understood me. I thought you cared about me. I thought we were a family. Or are we only a family when it matters to you? The trustees at the top level are feeding this problem because they're scared to admit that they have failed in many, many cases. We've got veterans doing hunger strikes. We've got veterans going homeless. We haven't got one dedicated mental health hospital in this country, but there must be nearly £3 billion sat in accounts paying people's wages. Is that right? Is that what the public donated for? No, they didn't. They donated the money to you to give to us because they assumed that you are doing what you say you are. Well, next year, one of our aims as a charity, and we're going to be linking up with others in this community that are just as angry, is to call for a public inquiry into military charity spending. How the hell can you justify 20% a year? That's the same as income tax. So basically you're running a business and you pay as little as you can and pay yourselves as much as you want. Well, that's wrong. That money was meant for us. We've got 7,000 homeless or sofa surfing basic mental health. Basic. But you still all sit there, sitting on your checkbooks, turning the other cheek. It's not what we wanted. You need to listen to the people, not tell them. This is the problem. They sit in their offices on after they've retired from the army on plush pensions, then get another good wage and a plush pension, then get an MBE because they're serving the community. And a lot of the time, the only people I can see them serving is themselves. I'm fed up of hearing we're having a massive Christmas party this year. We're going to pay for your travel, your hotel, and 2 nights of partying. Can you give that money to the people that are dying? That's what would help. That's what we need. I'm fed up of charities taking a handful of people on a lifetime adventure. It cost him 5 times more than it was ever raised. But what's important to you is you get your faces in the paper and the PR machine. We are not an asset. We are not something that could be used like a cash card. There is too many people, high-ranking people, coming out of the army and then using the charitable world as their further employment. Well, we're not a job. We're people. And we deserve more than what we are being given. All you had to do was help us. But you will all look the other way. Well, I've got something to tell you. All you have done is highlighted exactly what the problem is. It's about you. It's not about us. If you were serving us selflessly, one of you would have given us peanuts to create something magnificent, safe, run by veterans, for veterans. But you think you know better. I nearly died because of the system, and so are many, many more of us. If people really knew how bad the suicide problem is in our community, not one more penny would ever be given to any of these large organisations. Well, I ask the British people, this is me to you now. My accountant says my first year's books are spotless, exactly what I said. All the money goes to veterans. So, will the British public now back me? Will the British public now get behind me? Will the British public now accept the fact that we are in a worse case than ever? And I and us, Forgotten Veterans UK, are doing something about it. All I ever hear from people is, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. As long as I get 45 grand a year, I can really make a difference. Well, balls to you. We've made a difference for nothing. We've made a difference without a humongous administration charge. We've made a difference because we listen to the people. We listen to the families. I get contacted 30, 40 times a day. And so everyone says to me that, Gaz, it's really weird that we can get to the top, to the CEO, because they're faceless people that don't entertain us. Well, I do, because I am you. I am Tommy. I am the Tommy that died on the beaches. I am the Tommy that died in Africa. I am the Tommy that had to go to the Balkans. I am the Tommy that went to Ireland and did the bidding of the people for our Queen and country against our own people. You are the Tommy, Lorna Clark, Ken Price, Annette Walker. We are Tommy. And this is enough. And we're not going to put up with it anymore. I want the civilians to get behind me and let's take this charity to the top. And while we're at that, let's make sure that we get a public inquiry into the spending and the amounts of money some of this lot have got. And let's let them try and justify why they've got hundreds of millions of pounds of our money, but things are worse than ever. Stormy Norman, McGuigan, I want to see you. I want to see all of you that that are in this for the right reasons, that are sick of the situation that we've come to, sick of losing more and more lives. But the machines go on, the publicity nonsense carries on. I sat a mental health first aid course 2 weeks ago that, funny enough, had been part written by the MOD. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, they are now training civilian charities in case they see one of us, and they're basically telling them that unless you the people with PTSD served less than 4 years, come from troubled homes, had a criminal past, and it's nothing to do with the MOD. So still the denial continues. Isn't it better to say nothing than something and make up loads of crap? That course, apparently, out of 100,000 soldiers, only 10 will commit suicide. What world are you in? And you are teaching this to the civilians. So all the civilian charities that we may need to go to, because our own ones are, a vast amount of our own ones are absolutely terrible, now think that I got touched up by Jimmy Savile and I was never a real soldier. What is that doing to help the MOD? We are being backed by the government. We are being backed by MPs. We are being backed by ministers, councillors, organisations, apart from our own. Because backing us only highlights the fact that they have failed. Enough's enough. It's time to raise an inquiry. It's time to start asking questions. It's time to start seeing where all this money's been going. And then the public can decide who they want to give to. They've become machines that serve themselves and not serve the people. They do a few good things and think that that's enough. That they get to cruise along, demanding high wages, sodding off at 5 o'clock and closing down at weekends. Well, the people are listening, and they're listening to me. And we are going to change this. You had your chance to help. You had your chance to do the right thing. But yet again, your egos and your ranks get in the way. Well, I'm sorry. You've lost my respect and you've lost sight of what you started these charities for. They are machines to feed yourselves, and we get the scraps. Well, it isn't good enough anymore. Next year, me and my team are going to push and push and push until an inquiry is raised. We are sick of it. All ranks matter. All lives matter. All the veterans matter. Their wives, their kids. We are not objects to be coined in of. We are real people. We spent trillions getting into wars, but pennies rebuilding the lives of the people that went. I went abroad to help these people, not to kill them, but yet we are put to the back of the queue and treated like second-class citizens. Well, enough's enough. You cannot silence me because I do not take a wage. You had your chance to pull me into line, but your egos and wallets got in the way. Well, I will not be silenced, and neither will my charity. And we are going to keep going and going and going and going until everyone is aware that the veteran military charitable world has turned into a business. The money stayed and the perks stayed at the top when we served. And now they've done it exactly the same now we've left. Well, that's our money. Our money that was donated to us. Our money. And we want it back. Carol Sharp, Anne Gilligan, Tony Littler, John Martin Callender, thank you for joining me. I am sorry, I am going for it today because I am sick of it. I am Tommy. I speak for the Tommies. And it's not good enough. The poppy is not owned by one person. A military battle is not owned by one organisation. The poppy was grown in a land by itself to symbolise the dead. It belongs to all the nations that joined in, all the veterans that died. It is not one person's right to say that belongs to me. I am Tommy, and the public are Tommy, and we stuck up for our country. We came to fight. We came when called, but our country at times now turns the cheek. I'm sorry, but it's come to this. It's come to this. I will sit with any large charity and organisation that wants to talk and prove to me that they can't help and it's for a reason, not that they won't. I will sit with any large charity and organisation that can justify why you have hundreds of millions of pounds of our money, but things are worse than ever. I bet I don't get one call. Prove to me that I am wrong. Prove to us that we're incorrect. But you can't, because you're too busy drawing a wage. You're too busy slapping each other on the back. Oh, we've done really well for these people. No, you haven't. You've done really well for yourself. But the truth is, you don't listen to us. You won't speak to us. All I've wanted to do is to sit with these large organisations and say, could you listen to me for half an hour? Can I tell you what our community needs? Can I tell you what's going on? Can we work out how we're going to work better together? And all I get is a phone put down, because I am not a brigadier, I am not a major, I am not a high-ranking long-serving. And do you know why I'm not a high-ranking long-serving? Because I got up the front and served my country, and I put my body and mind through hell. I am Tommy. Carol Sharp is Tommy. Wayne Sargent is Tommy. John Andrews is Tommy. Roy Anthony Brinkley is Tommy. We are the ones that gave our lives, while you sit back. I'm sorry it's come to this. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry if people don't like it, and I'm sorry if I'm going to lose donators and followers. But what the hell do you want us to do? We've begged on our hands and knees to ask for help. You don't pay excesses, you don't pay administration, you don't pay over the odds. You're not paying for me to go on holiday, you're helping the veterans. But the thing is, because we're prepared to talk the truth, you will not help. Because we are embarrassing you and showing that your administration rate is ridiculous, we are embarrassing you. 20%? People pay more tax than that. I agree, these big charities are mostly in it for themselves. Well, that's the thing. The proof is in the pudding. People are counting the deaths. People are listening to the veterans. People are talking to the homeless, to the families that have been let down. It's coming out, the truth. Denying us help highlighted exactly what's going wrong. Next year, the gloves are off, and we are going for a public inquiry. And you're going to pay for it in the long run, because you didn't want to help, because you misled us, You BS'd us. You made us believe that we were going to do something good. You still send people to us daily, again and again and again. The staff at the bottom agree with me that this has all got out of hand. That as people the size of some of these cannot give the help and assistance as quick as we do, so they come to us. But still we are denied, and still we're not given an audience or even the manners to sit down and talk with us. So how the hell can you say you are doing the best for our community when you're not even prepared to listen to the veterans? We are sick of this. And more people dying. Well, every person that dies next week, tell them about longevity. Beverly Hall, thank you. Dave Harvey, thank you. Nick Weaving, well, she's a bit biased. Thank you, my love. I'm sorry, I've lost it, okay? I've said what everyone else should be saying. I'm being honest because no one out, barely anyone else is prepared to do it because they're all taking a wage. Well, not this crew. We do what's right for the veterans. We care for the veterans. We put the veterans before ourselves. We are showing up your measly giving percentage, because we've shown that you can run a perfectly good charity and give it all to the veterans without getting rich ourselves. That's why you won't help us, because you do not want us to climb. You do not want us to grow. Well, that's part of the problem, and that is why we're losing lives daily. If people want to discuss this with me, have a go at me, tell me that I'm wrong, come for it. Tell me in private message, because I'm done with this. I am done listening to your nonsense. The people are done with keeping donating but never barely seeing. Sports therapy isn't the end, isn't the cure. Local communal projects in their own back garden, run by selfless people that understand them, that are not just come from university, have got no idea in military needs, and now are getting a wage to do so. We are not people's projects. We are not people's things to be owned. We are Tommy. Hashtag I am Tommy. Susan Austin, you are Tommy. Paul Jones, you are Tommy. John Andrews, you are Tommy. Natalie MacDonald, you fought on the beaches. Beverly Hall, you died in World War II. We are the people that have saved this country. We are the people that have given our blood, our sons, our daughters to this country. Why you all sit back idly? Oh, I'm doing my bit. I'm doing my bit. No, you're not. You're getting bloody paid every month. I heard someone say, I don't do weekends. I'm not paid enough to do weekends. Well, that's part of the problem. Because you're doing this for yourself, not for us. Right. The people that are watching this, the people that are sharing it, the people that are spreading this amongst themselves into the groups, the corners, will you give me £1 a month? Just £1 a month, the price of a can of Coke. So that I can guarantee that these veterans have got a monthly income, so we can give it out in hardship, in food vouchers, in electric, in gas, in clothes for an interview, with travel money. Give me £1 a month and I will take this charity to the top. And when we get there and the ones below us crumble through their own greed and self-worth, then we can stand there and say, we gave you the chance, we gave you the opportunity, we gave you the opportunity to help us, but yet again, your own internal politics and egos come first. Form A is a con. Form A is the top 200 richest charities giving money to each other. So the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor. So why small charities that have worked selflessly for months on end, go without? Right, I'm gonna go because I probably said enough. But I've only just begun. The gloves are off. Here comes. I've listened to it all. I've watched it all. I've heard all the excuses. I've heard all the crap. And now I'm bored of it. So we do this without you. We do this by ourselves. We stop trying to fit in and form up to keep you lot happy when you're not prepared to do anything to help, to give anything back. Forgotten Veterans is here to stay. Forgotten Veterans are not going anywhere. The British public will get behind Forgotten Veterans because we are doing what we said we would, putting the veterans first. Well, I'm probably about to get told off by my trustees and some of my managers, but hey ho, now's the time. I'm done with it. I'm done with playing the game. I'm done with begging for scraps. We'll do this by ourselves. We'll do this with or without you. The civilians are behind us and there's not a thing that you can do about it. Can you give me £2 a month? £1? Something you won't miss? So I can get people down here so we can pay for their travel and food and put them up and give them access to mental health. Have you got selfless commitment to others? Are you fed up of watching your money getting flitted away in corporations that only feed themselves? Are you fed up with giving money and it getting invested in offshore ventures and not even going anywhere near the people it was meant for? If you are that person, then there's a new racehorse coming up on the outside. It's called Forgotten Veterans UK. We say it as it is, and we do what we say. And in this world, that's a rare thing. We're fed up of getting over-opiated. We're fed up of being pushed to the back of the queue. We're fed up of having to go and beg for PIP from the injuries that we were diagnosed. We're fed up of being used by the civilian system to further their own gains and make money off of our vulnerability. I am Tommy, and I am not giving up. I'm Gaz Weaving. Yes, I've got the arse. I apologise if some people find this hard to swallow, but it's come to this point. If you're not going to help us, we'll help ourselves, and we will do right. Thank you. I apologise to my family if I've embarrassed them. I've apologised to my volunteers if I've let them down, but this is the way it's going to be. Let's raise a public inquiry into large military charity spending, and let's find out exactly what is going on. All because you didn't want to give the back change in your pocket. I'm Gaz Weaving. I've got the arse. I'm preparing with a large group of volunteers a camp for next week to help our community and to make sure we get a respite centre off the ground where the veterans feel welcome. Thank you to all that have listened. Please share this, please talk about this, please bring me into your groups, please bring me into your chat shows, your radio shows, your web services. You want news, I'll give it to you. You want the truth, and we'll say it. Any press that see this, get in contact because the gloves are off. We are dying and they're stood there